We have an interesting relationship with Qatar. It was a little more simplified before Donald Trump. Since Donald Trump has become the president of the United States and has essentially gotten completely in league with Saudi Arabia, even more so than we naturally are. Donald Trump has said things about the nation of Qatar that that undermine our relationship with the nation, so much so that the Department of Defense had to distance themselves from Donald Trump's statements on Qatar. And so here we are now. The complicated nature of the relationship becomes even more complicated because we have agreed to, and Qatar has agreed to a $12 billion deal for F-15 fighter jets. So the United States and Qatar have signed a deal for the purchase of F-15 fighter jets with an initial cost of $12 billion. This is according to Al Jazeera. The aircraft purchase was completed by Qatari Minister of Defense and his counterpart, Jim Mattis, here in the United States. The Minister of Defense from Qatar said, quote, there's a long-standing commitment of the state of Qatar in jointly working with our friends and allies in the United States in advancing our military cooperation for closer strategic collaboration and our fight to counter violent extremism and to promote peace and stability in our region and beyond. So according to the Defense Department, the sale will give Qatar the state-of-the-art capability and increased cooperation, quote, cooperation between the United States and Qatar. Just a few weeks ago, Trump signed a $110 billion arms deal with Saudi Arabia. And this comes with the backdrop of tensions escalating between Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Qatar has been cut off, essentially, with Saudi Arabia at the lead, severing diplomatic and economic ties with the nation. And so the United States has supplied weapons to Saudi Arabia and now F-15 fighter jets to Qatar. There's a lot to say about that. There's almost too much to say about that. But we're going to let it play out. We're going to let it play out and see where it goes. But clearly the United States is supplying weapons to two nations that have escalating tensions. And it won't be the first time the United States has done something like this, but within 2 weeks of the other sale, and so publicly, with the president siding with one nation and the Department of Defense distancing themselves from the president in order to try to assuage the tensions, the escalating tensions. This is a recipe for disaster. And hopefully I'll be wrong. This is one that I definitely hope that I'm wrong on.